We argue every day, every single day, either to justify our opinions or our doings. Let's look at this example. Now, Jack and Joe work in the same company. One day, their manager comes and tells them that one of them will be promoted. Now, Jack, being the more desperate of the two, he runs behind the manager and tells him, "Look here, I think I deserve the promotion because I am the more senior of the two." Now, clearly, this is an argument. Jack is giving reasons why, or he is justifying why he deserves the promotion. Now, though this is clearly an argument, don't you think that this is a kind of a lame argument? Because seniority does not necessarily imply being efficient. When it comes to mathematics, these kinds of lame arguments won't do. You must learn to argue rationally. In order to do that, you must learn the science of rational argument, which is called logic. Now, there are two reasons why a student of mathematics must know some logic. Let's look at the first reason. What is the first reason? It will help you to bypass your mathematical inadequacies to reach the answer. That is the first reason. Now, you know that most people drive around in their cars without knowing what is going under the hood. Now, imagine that you are one of those people. Suddenly, your car comes to a halt in the middle of nowhere. The place is deserted. You check the fuel gauge and you realize that there's enough fuel. You check your mobile phone and find out that there is no connection. You are stuck. Then I am pretty sure for the first time in your life, you'd be regretting not knowing anything about motor mechanics. The thing is, when it comes to mathematics, breakdowns are more frequent. Now, if it happens at an exam, there is no way that you can ask for help because that is considered as cheating. If that happens, you will have to try every trick in the book to solve the problem. Most people take mathematics for granted. They really do not care how and why mathematics works. The great Bertrand Russell once wrote that logic is the childhood of mathematics and mathematics is the manhood of logic. If you know logic, then you can understand these underlying mechanics of mathematics. And if you know these underlying mechanics of mathematics, you will always find a way to bypass your mathematical inadequacies. Everybody has mathematical inadequacies, even the best of mathematicians. Why? Because we are all human. For example, you might be having lack of algebraic skills to prove something using the direct method of proof. But if you know your logic and the underlying mechanics of mathematics, it is not that difficult to find some other means of proof to prove what's been given. So, to understand these various methods of proof, you must have a good foundation of logic. This is the first reason why a student must know some logic. Now we are going to the second reason. What is the second reason? The second reason is it will help you to construct your answer in such a manner that no one can challenge it. Now imagine that there is this prosecutor who has all the witnesses in the world to construct a successful case against a suspected criminal. All he has to do is to collect all the evidence, then make a logical sequence of evidence that would prove without any reasonable doubt that the accused is guilty. What would happen if there is a flaw in his reasoning? The most likely outcome is he is going to lose the case. The accused or the suspected criminal will be acquitted. The same thing can happen in mathematics. You might be knowing all the theorems, you might be having marvelous computational skills, but if your reasoning is flawed, you will always find somebody coming along and saying that, look here, your answer is incomplete. To avoid this, you must know logical reasoning. This is the second reason why you must know some logic. Now, logic is a vast subject. You must know just the right amount that would enable you not only to survive but to thrive in the universe of mathematics. That is what we are trying to do in this series of videos on logic for mathematics. Now, before I wind up, I would like to tell you two interesting stories about two great yet strange logicians. The Queen and the Logician. It was 1866. The British Empire was at the height of its power. One day, Queen Victoria received a first edition copy of a book titled Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, written by someone called Lewis Carroll. Fascinated by the story, the Queen expressed her wish to get hold of a copy of the next book by Lewis Carroll as soon as it hits the bookstores. Roughly a year later, the Queen received an inscribed copy of a book titled Determinants with their application to simultaneous linear equations and algebraical geometry, authored by someone named Charles Dodgson. The Queen probably felt 10 years older after going through 1 or 2 pages of the book. Later, she understood what really went wrong when she found out that Lewis Carroll was the pen name of an accomplished mathematician and logician known as Charles Dodgson. Despite being a polymath, Charles had an unhealthy obsession which plagued him throughout his adult life. God and Gödel. Is it possible to prove the existence of God, the Lord of the universe? Well, someone did that, not using a telescope or something, but by logic. Using a set of self-constructed axioms and theorems, Kurt Gödel, an Austro-Hungarian mathematician and logician, proved that there is an entity X that has the properties attributed to God. Though he was one of the foremost intellects of the 20th century, Gödel had a flaw, the flaw of being human. Following the murder of a close friend by a pro-Nazi thug, he was plagued by persecutory delusions of being poisoned. This made him only trust his beloved wife's cooking. When his wife was hospitalized for a prolonged period, this brilliant but disturbed man refused to eat and eventually starved himself to death at the age of 71.